The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 819. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have another amazing Asian woman who boss up author. She is the CEO and founder of the Opulent Academy, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story and wisdom with us today about self-confidence and about this amazing book. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Amy Lin. Amy, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Yes, absolutely. Hi, Sheena, and hi, audience. Thanks for having me here. So like what Sheena say, I am the founder and CEO of the Opulent Academy. So what I teach at the Opulent Academy is I work with entrepreneurs to help them to get to a quantum leap in both their personal life and their business life.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Amy, what's your cultural background?
I was born in Taiwan, but both my parents are from China. So I'm half Taiwanese and Chinese, I guess.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And how does the model minority myth hurt Asian women as a whole?
Well, I think there's what I call the culture paradigm is that most people think Asian women, especially, are very reserved, shy, and submissive, right? So, and since they have this predetermined image of us, it seems like us as a whole culture, we're supposed to be showing up like that. So when we show up to the opposite of what people expect, then people are kind of thrown off because they don't expect us to speak up and then to really step into our power. So I think there's some sort of limitation around us women, especially Asian minorities.
Thanks for sharing that. That's so true, right? Most people think all Asian women are quiet and submissive and obedient. And if it's not that, we're treated as a sex object. And that really hurts us because we feel like that's all we're good for. Not realizing actually we're good for a lot of things, right? Like we can be an entrepreneur, we can be an actor, we can be, good at video. Like sky's the limit. There shouldn't be like a ceiling that stops us from going after what we want. And why is creating a stronger representation of Asian women so important for you?
Because it's not about me. It's to show other women, especially Asian women, what's possible. And we're so traditionally, we listen to our parents and we're supposed to go to school and then get a good job and that's it, right? But now we're coming off as, what if I don't want to be inside that box? I want to be outside the box, and I want to be more creative and really tap into what we want. Not what our parents want, not what the society think we should be. So I think this is really important to show other Asian women what's possible and really step into their power.
Thanks for sharing that. That's so true, right? If we don't show others what's possible, then nothing will happen. And for me, representation is really big. And this is one of the reasons why I created the podcast, was because growing up, I never had that representation. All I ever saw was white people. And I wanted to name myself Heather, have blonde hair and blue eyes, because that's what I thought being beautiful was. And I don't want the future generation to feel that way because they have smaller eyes, we have black hair, we have a little paler skin, that we're not considered beautiful, because we are all beautiful. And the more we can show up, the better, the more our future generation will feel a lot better about themselves and show up as their true selves. And how does it feel being that representation for so many Asian women in the world?
Well, honestly, Sheena, I think initially, of course, it felt uncomfortable because growing up in a culture where, not just kids, but like we're supposed to be heard, not seen. So I really didn't enjoy being under the spotlight. But then going through the personal development, really learning that it's not about me, it's about my message. It's about what I represent to other women, especially Asian women. So it really reminded me that I'm coming up as an example for others. So it's not about me. It's about what I represent.
Thanks for sharing that. And that's so true, right? I mean, it's not easy to show up all the time, right? And most of the time, we don't like, to be honest, most of the time we'd rather just hide, right? But if no one's, if like sometimes we just have to step up and just do it because it just starts with one person and it can open so many doors for other people. And so if we just keep showing up and showing others what's possible and creating that stronger representation of Asian women, that's when real change can come. And so I like what you mentioned, and share one reason as to why every Asian woman needs to read this book.
Well, it's really to show the women what is possible. And I just love that all these women come together with different backgrounds, with different upbringings, and yet we're all stepping into our power and do something that we're really passionate about. And I really want to give this idea to all the readers that it is possible. And then figure out what is it that you love to do and not be bound by the culture, by the society. Right. And to truly step into your power.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Amy, what can readers gain from reading your story?
One thing is definitely accepting who you truly are and follow your intuition, follow your heart, because your intuition will always guide you. And again, not listen to what other people say, not listen to what especially parents, what your parents want from you, but what is it that you really want? Because just know that it is your life. You're creating your own life, right? You're not living on someone else's terms. And that's one of the biggest takeaway that I want the readers to have, is to really go after your passion.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And that's so true, right? Sometimes you got to go out there and do your own thing, even if a lot of people don't agree with what you do, right? They don't understand what you're doing. And as Asian women, we're so good at not following our intuition because we're so afraid to go out there and do it, because we've been so prone to like being afraid of the unknown versus learning to embrace it and, asking the right questions like what good can come out of this. And so I really like that you mentioned, just going out there, doing your own thing, doing what makes you happy versus the expectation of others. And would you be able to share one boss up tip for our listeners today?
One thing, the tip for the ladies, it's the power of decision. So the word decision is really underrated, because once you make a decision, it's a true decision. And that's the first part. Once you make a decision to go after what you want, the second part is the action. So there's no decision without action. So after you make a decision, whether that's going after what you want to do or making a decision to quit your job and start your own podcast, for example, right? Or to write your own first book. The second step is taking that action. And you might not know how it's all gonna pan out. And it's okay, because that's where Sheena talked about the unknown. And once you make a decision, the universe will conspire to help you to make that happen. It will attract the resources, the people, the money you need to help you to make that happen. So that's like a very important point that I want the listeners to walk away with.
I love that, especially like learning to make a decision. That's something Asian women are afraid to do, because all our lives, our parents or our elders have always made decisions for us. So when it's time for us to make a decision, it's like the biggest, scariest thing in the world. And I know, because I went through the same thing. I was like, oh my God, I don't know if the decisions I make are going to be right, or people are going to get mad at me, or I'm going to become a failure. But even sometimes making a wrong decision can still lead you to the right decision. And so this is why it's so important to practice these things, do it wrong so that you can get it right. And so I really love that you mentioned that tip. And Amy, can you share with our listeners where they can pre-order a copy of the book? And also if you have any social media profile links you want to share with us today?
Yes, absolutely. So you can pre-order the book on www.theopulentacademy.com. And when you pre-order the book, I actually want to give the audience a gift, which is I share about 6 steps to create your quantum leap. So there's 6 videos for you to do, and then including action steps. So if you pre-order the book, you can also get the bundle of the videos for free.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Amy, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Amy's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Amy today for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you, Sheena, for having me.
Not a problem. It's really great having you in the show, and I can't wait for this book to come out. I know it's going to inspire a lot of Asian women out there to just boss up in their own life and create a path that they truly love to live. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another Asian woman who boss up author is going to share her tips and wisdom on why she's so excited for this book. So tune in to the next episode. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. You can order your copy of Asian Women Who Boss Up book by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.